Sean Zattel, theboxingvoice.com. Extremely honored and privileged to be with the great Larry Merchant.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Larry, got Canelo Smith. Does Alvarez have to look good, better than good? Does he have to look great to make believers out of people that he can actually beat Triple G and not just make it an exciting fight?
Every fighter wants to look great. The thing about Triple G is, or Canelo, excuse me, is that just think about this for a moment. We're in Dallas. It's football season in Texas with high school and college and pro. Right? There's nothing bigger in Texas except the Rangers, the baseball team in Dallas is one of the best teams in baseball, and everybody is hoping they get in the World Series. And Canelo comes in here and parachutes in here, and then upwards of 50,000 people to watch him. And there's a reason for that. And he's got star power, and he's a serious, watchable fighter. And he's fighting a tough guy. It's an opportunity to look great, but it could be a good fight, and that's all I want to see.
Oscar has kind of marketed him as his heir apparent. But Oscar, for as marketable as he was, the talent, the fighter, actually measured up. And even though Canelo is good, is he at that point yet? And if he's not, do you think he will eventually?
Similar questions were asked of Oscar. Is he just a good-looking kid who connects and is a star and women love him? Okay? It was the same movie. And Mexican fans didn't particularly like De La Hoya. He had to convince them that he was the real thing and not just photogenic. And he answered, and he fought everybody. But they said, you know what? He's not as good as Sugar Ray Leonard. That was the bar he had to get over.
Absolutely.
So, you know, Canelo's a damn good fighter. I've been watching him since he's a teenager. He's improved. He's fought guys that everybody said he shouldn't fight, and he's beaten them.
Trout, Lara.
Right?
Yes.
And so I give him high marks. And when the fight with Golovkin comes, we'll see. But you know what? The longer you wait for that kind of fight, the more something could happen to make it not happen. But it's part of the narrative of at this time, and I want to see the fight, but I want to see him whenever he fights.
Is Alvarez coming? Is his progress, improving as a fighter, coming along the way you feel it should? With De La Hoya, we saw him get better each weight class he would move up to. By the time he was at 47, he was complete. Does Alvarez maybe need new trainers, or do you think his team's fine the way he is and he's moving just fine to his peak?
Well, you know, De La Hoya was a lightweight waiting to become a welterweight. Everybody knew he was going to grow into that. Right. And he was a hell of a fighter, terrific fighter. The fights he lost were good fights. You fight good fights and people are happy with you. I felt that from the beginning, the first time I looked at Canelo, that he was going to be a hell of a fighter, coming from a family of fighters that being recognized by Mexican fight fans as their future champion. Right. There was something there. And I think he's refined some things. He's now, I would say, in his prime. But he's not too dissimilar from the fighter I saw at the beginning, which was what surprised me was when he was a kid, he was making that transition from offense to defense and defense to offense, intuitively reading the body language of his opponents already. So, you know, he was born with some good stuff, and he's made something out of it.
Now, when the big dance finally does happen, Golovkin, Canelo, will Triple G, everyone seems to have him as the favorite, but stylistically, will Triple G play into Canelo's hands by not being, because Canelo seems to have problems with the guys that move on him, by what we would anticipate him coming to Canelo, will that actually play into Canelo's hands?
I don't know. Great fighters, especially in their prime, have a way of overcoming whatever stylistic problems there are.
You never subscribe to the whole styles make fight.
No, I do think that styles can make fights.
Right.
Okay, but if you're great, you find a way to overcome some stylistic issue you have. And here we'll have, two fighters trying to overcome issues of one guy who is really strong and really tough and really smart, aggressive, against another guy who is a boxer banger.
Who do you lean towards when it finally comes off?
You know what? Right now I'd have to say Golovkin, but between now and then, if they each fight 2 or 3 more fights, it could change, and if Canelo beat him, I wouldn't be shocked.
No other sight in the game could see the boxing voice.